Hello, sir, you're actually muted, so we can't actually hear you.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you now, sir.
Good, great. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for coming around, sir.
My pleasure.
We really appreciate. We are really grateful to have you in our midst.
Yeah. My great pleasure interacting with you guys too.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. So
All right.
the meeting is being recorded and also being live streamed on YouTube so that even after now, anyone can reference actually, any one of us can actually.
Yeah, that's all right.
All right, sir. All right. Thank you very much once more, everyone, for making yourself available for the meeting. We'll be kickstarting because our speaker is here. And some of us already came in even before 4 p.m. Thank God it's been recorded. It's also been live streamed, so we can always refer a reference for those that might miss the early parts. So a quick one, we start with the opening prayer, which is, we will take the national prayer. National prayer is the second stanza of the national anthem.
National anthem.
So I will share my screen so we all can read through. We can recite it together so that no one is actually left behind. All right, let me. All right. Let me increase it. Okay, please, can we all see my screen?
Yeah, but they need to enlarge it for those who read it.
Okay. I've enlarged it. Is it visible now? Is it clear now?
Yeah, it's clear for those who read it. It's clear.
Yes, for those who read it.
Yes, it's clear.
All right, thank you.
Some of us learned it by heart since we were in secondary school.
Actually, we can actually sing it, but for the sake of everyone,
yeah,
we'll carry everybody along.
That's right.
We do recite it in most meetings, and most time when you are singing, it's easy to sing along, but when you are reciting, you might miss one or two words because you are reciting.
Yeah.
Okay, after the count of 2, we begin the recitation. 1, 2, go. O God of creation.
God of creation, direct
our noble cause. Guide our leaders,
right?
Help our youth
the truth to know.
In
love and honesty to grow. And living just and true. Great lofty heights attain.
To build
a nation where peace
and
justice
shall reign.
Amen.
Amen. All right. Thank you very much, all. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, our speaker. Before we proceed, please, I would like the national chairman, in the person of pharmacist Darius Azige, to just give us the opening remarks before I proceed with the recitation of a brief recitation of the profile of the keynote speaker. Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, the Secretary. Our speaker, you're highly welcome, sir.
Thank you.
It's such a pleasure having us. This has become a dream come true. The wealth of your knowledge and experiences. We don't take it for granted, sir. Thank you very much. You were even timely. So, discipline and all that in our speaker. So it's marvelous having you here, sir. Thank you very much for agreeing to give us your time. The one that I called you, you said anytime we need you. And we scheduled for 4 o'clock and 4 dot, you're here. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
All the young pharmacists that are here, I will want each and every one of us to extend this information. Sunday, I know a lot of people might want to take a rest, but if our father is already here, I think it's right that we also sacrifice our rest. He needs the rest even much more than us. So we can sacrifice that and be part of this session that will expose us into knowing depth. This is a privilege he is granting us for us to stand on his shoulder, to stand on the shoulders of the practice he has had over the plus other years he has been, aside being a pharmacist. Okay, the number is still increasing. We have 31 now. So with you, thank you so much. And I also encourage that as much as we have questions, please, let's feel free. I've been in a meeting where I heard him speak up and see that we take advantage of this opportunity. Thank you.
You're welcome.
For being here with us. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for that. Okay, so just so we know how privileged we are to the capacity and a brief profile of our speaker, so that we understand what we understand the quality of information we are about to get. Pharmacist Peter Ilya graduated from ABU University, ABU Zaria, Ahmadu Bello University Zaria in the year 1988 with distinction grade.
Wow.
Yes, with distinction grade. And currently, he is a fellow of the Institute of Management Consultants of Nigeria. He's a fellow of the National Institute for Security Studies, Security and Intelligence Advisor / Consultant, a CGMP expert, a recruiter, communication expert, a reviewer, and a teacher. Pharmacist Peter Ilya currently has more than 18 years of experience in pharmacy regulation. And before retirement, Pharmacist Peter Ilya was the Director of Special Duties, Pharmacy Council of Nigeria, at the Pharmacy Council of Nigeria. He is actually an alumni of the Association of National Institute for Security Study, the ABU Alumni Association, the Federal Government College Warri Old Students Association, and the Unity School Old Student Association. So we can see that we are not just, we didn't just choose a random speaker. We chose a speaker who is actually well-versed and knowledge in regulation to handle this topic. Thank you very much once more. You are welcome, Pharmacist Peter Ilya.
Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure being here.
Yeah. So thank you very much. You'll be having the floor next, and to help us understand what it means to practice within the digital space, be it sales or distribution. Tell us help us to understand better what the PCN Act is, because a lot of us have the Act. In fact, we have to reshare the Act again, but I must be sincere with you. Most of us have not been able to digest the Act properly. I must be sincere with you. So that's why we have the need for the meeting to be called. So thank you very much once more. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you very much, members of the Young Pharmacists Group and other participants watching. I am really delighted to be here. Talking of the digital space in pharmacy practice, in specific terms, we are talking about issues of advertisement online and then satellite pharmacy and online pharmacy. But more importantly, online advertisement and online pharmacy. The need to bring these two spheres of influence, as I may put it, or spheres of practice, arose as a result of the fact that the digital space has very pervasive influence globally. In fact, today, the reach of the digital space is so much, so all-encompassing that I don't think there's anybody that is immune to it, except if you are 6 feet below the ground. Now, you will all agree that there have been forays into the digital space in terms of the pharmaceutical or pharmacy practice. Adverts have always been there, whether on electronic or print media. But of recent, the issue of online pharmacy, whereby people advertise, market, sell, or put out for sale to the public pharmaceuticals and medicaments as they were, including controlled medicines, has become very worrisome, more so that the Pharmacy Council of Nigeria does not have absolute control of the digital space. We cannot pretend to have that control, but after much brainstorming, we thought that we could also bring the practitioners in that space, digital space, under our professional regulation by doing one or two things. And therefore, the issue of satellite pharmacy, online pharmacy came up. And we said, okay, online pharmacy, how do we have a grip? Or how do we put a finger over what they do? And the way to go is to ensure that we hold somebody accountable. And we said, okay, now you want to do online pharmacy, you must have a physical presence on the ground in terms of a premises, either your own or one that you're affiliated to, whereby we can hold somebody responsible for any online unprofessional practice or misdemeanor, as the case may be. Because even in the normal practice, we contend with malpractices and unprofessional conduct, more so in the digital space, whereby things can be done within the blink of an eye or the snap of fingers. Therefore, it has become very imperative for us to hold people accountable for what they do in the digital space in terms of advertisement, in terms of putting up for sale or offering for sale, in terms of sale of pharmaceutical products. Today, you see a lot, without necessarily mentioning names, you see a lot of medicines are being put up for sale, both nationally and internationally, by well-renowned marketing companies or marketers, or online marketers. And therefore, the purpose of the online pharmacy regulation is for the Pharmacy Council of Nigeria to be able to regulate the practice of online pharmacy, so that by doing that, we would have ensured that all aspects of pharmacy practice, including the digital aspect, come under our purview. And therefore, it is enshrined under the Section 4 of the new Pharmacy Act, along with other areas of practice like satellite pharmacy and the rest of them. And then to ensure that we could have a working document we'll be able to refer to that derives its power from the 2022 Pharmacy Act, we have the satellite pharmacy regulations. And these regulations stipulate in details what are the requirements for establishing online pharmacy regulation. So it stipulates in specific details what is required for the establishment of an online pharmacy, and then all the necessary details that anybody needs to know to set up an online pharmacy. I must tell you that because of the peculiarity of online pharmacy practice and the fact that it is a relatively new sphere for us in Nigeria, we have taken our time to ensure that the regulations are very stringent so that it will not be an all-comers affair. And therefore, if you look at the online pharmacy regulations, some of you may discover or may look at it that some of the conditions are so stringent, but I think it is for the good of all. So the online pharmacy regulation is there to give teeth to what the law stipulates under Section 4 of the new Pharmacy Act. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much for that address and summary and details of the online pharmacy and the history you've given us so far. We actually shared a copy of the Pharmacy Act prior to this time.
Yeah.
So that everyone actually could access it. And we all heard our speaker mentioning the section part 4. So actually, I just want to clarify, if you go to part 4, you will see it's actually there in part 4. So, but then we are not here so that he will start reading it one after the other for us, because
absolutely not.
Majorly, I know most of us came around here with questions in our mind, with questions with respect to what it takes. So that's why we intend to give a lot of time for questions, because it is from the questions that a lot of issues will be addressed, not just by reading the act word for word. So that's why you see just give us a cover, and then so what we'll do next now is to start taking the questions. So please, you indicate if you have a question with respect to distribution, the sales, and let's say advertisement as well, which of course in the digital space we'll talk about advertisement. Please indicate by raising up your hand. You just raise up your hand and we will let you speak so that he addresses your question. Thank you very much. So any hands up, you can as well post your question on the chat box if maybe you are in a location where you cannot talk, maybe because of noise or audio constraint. You can as well put your question on the chat box. Okay, I have a question my own self with respect to that.
Right.
Okay. All right, before then, I can see one hand is up. That's Pharmacist Onyeka Obidiego. All right, Pharmacist Onyeka, former PR, one-time national PR of PSN-YPG. Yeah, welcome, sir. Please, you have the floor.
Welcome, my national chairman. Thank you so much for this program. I think it will really help us a lot. the speaker also from Peter is a man I know before. He's very erudite, and I know he will provide very good insight to most of our questions. So my own question is that I want to know, since this act came into place, I don't know if you can hear me because I see he's drawing his ears closer. Since this
Yeah, I
act,
can hear you.
yeah, since the act came into place, how many online pharmacies has been actually licensed? Like, in order to have an online pharmacy, he said that you must have a physical premise first. So
Yes.
to operate the online pharmacy, do you have to send a request again to the PCN, or is it automatic? That's one. Number two, how many has the PCN actually approved and are functioning currently? And my question also extends to the issue of the satellite pharmacies, because in the state currently, in Anambra State, we know that satellite pharmacy exists, but till now there is no like laid down criteria. Someone wants to open a satellite pharmacy, you are now 10 years in the practice, you want to open a satellite pharmacy. What's the modality? Is it just hanging there, or are we actually making efforts towards putting down laid down procedures and ways to go? So that's my question. I don't
All
want
right.
to go into the issue of the space, the advertisement space that has been polluted by all and sundry. I think that one will take our time. Okay, everybody knows that every Tom, Dick, and Harry now advertises pharmaceuticals illegally on social media. So asking what PCN is doing about it will be like singing the same song we've been singing all and over. So let me just focus on what guidelines have we laid in place, how many have we approved. So it will also give us an insight on the practicability of the whole stuff. Thank you so much, Chairman.
All right. So the guidelines or criteria for establishment of an online pharmacy, like I said earlier in my address, we have online pharmacy regulations. So in regulation, when you have an act establishing a regulatory body, the documents that give it power, deriving the power from the main act, are what we call regulations or gazettes. So there are gazetted regulations, online pharmacy, satellite pharmacy, pharmaceutical marketing, pharmaceutical and sales marketing, and the rest of them. Even patent medicine now has a gazetted regulation, which hitherto had not been there. So the guidelines and the requirements for that are set out in a supplementary document called the Online Pharmacy Regulation, which is gazetted, which is obtainable from our website or physically from any of our states or zonal offices. Now that document outlines all the requirements, just like the one for retail pharmacy, how you will apply, the requisite fees, the kind of inspection regimes, and the necessary approvals before licensure. So on how many have we licensed so far? Answer is none. None, because the approvals and licensure is supposed to commence 2022, but we have been receiving applications. You know, the gazetted regulation only came out a few months ago. So we wanted to ensure that we had a working document backed by law before we start venturing into that very delicate aspect of pharmacy practice. Like I earlier said, it's novel, it's intricate, and we have to be very careful navigating the waterways, as it were. And so now we are at the stage of inspections. I want to believe that some inspections have been carried out. Now I'm saying this because like some of you might know, on the 8th of August, I bowed out of the services of the Pharmacy Council of Nigeria. So I am retired. So I cannot categorically say, but I know that none has been approved yet, but inspections may have been done. That is where we are. All the others, all the ones that you are seeing them in the space have not yet been approved. Of course, you know that even before we started talking about what made us to really wake up to our responsibilities concerning the online pharmacy is the fact that some people were already doing it. And we sat and said to ourselves, what are we going to do? Because it has become very pervasive, also very amenable to abuse. We saw a lot of malpractices in the space whereby antibiotics and controlled substances were put up to the public, offered to the public for sale online. And that made us to quickly wake up to our responsibilities and say, no, we must do that. Add to that, some well-meaning pharmacists were also inundating us with inquiries, and entreating us to take very quick action before the thing got out of hand. So that is how we came to where we are today. But today, I must say, to the credit of the leadership of the PCN and the professional group, the PSN, and all other major stakeholders, we have it under the new Pharmacy Act, like I said, and we have gazetted regulation, the Online Pharmacy Regulation 2022, and with that, we are set to take center stage in the regulation of online pharmacy. In terms of, what it requires to deal with issues under the satellite pharmacy, of course, is still within the ambit of the Pharmacy Act 2022, just like any other form of pharmacy practice. If there is malpractice, if there is unprofessional practice and unethical practice, they will still come under the purview of the Pharmacy Act and will be dealt with squarely under the two organs of the PCN, that is the investigating panel and the disciplinary tribunal. But if you meet the requirements, you will be licensed to practice online pharmacy under the rules and regulations as stipulated in the Pharmacy Act 2022 and the gazetted regulation for online pharmacy. Thank you. Hello.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you. Okay, secretary.
All right, okay. Thank you very much. I was muted and I was speaking. I didn't know. Sorry about that. So, Sister Onyeka, I don't know if you are clear or there's still a gray area where you want our speaker to address.
Yes, I'm very clear. Thank you so much, sir, for that very succinct answer. I think it should also be a matter of concern to the council that people are not being licensed yet. I think that's why these kind of interactions are very important. So people that actually want to be law abiding should know how to be law abiding.
Yes.
So thank you so much.
There has to be a physical application to the council first, so that the pharmacy that is physically on ground, that is linked to the satellite pharmacy, will be inspected, and all the requirements we have stipulated must have been met before approval can be given for the satellite pharmacy to take off.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, sir. One thing I noted was the fact that there are official gazettes.
Yes.
That basically describes or tells us about what it means to own a satellite pharmacy, to own with respect to distribution and even sales. And then you also mentioned that we can source this document from the PCN website.
Yes.
Okay, prior to this time, I must be frank, I never knew.
Yeah.
I must be clear. Prior to this time, I don't know that there was actually, or there is. Anyway, you mentioned that it just came up.
Yes, they were published this year.
Was published
so
this year.
They are new. They are new.
Okay, so I can maybe give myself excuse myself for not.
Yes, of course, absolutely.
Okay. So honestly, I would like to access. I'm trying to also try to check. I'm trying to access the document online, though I've not been able to get to the portal. What I'm seeing is on the publications I could see, because I really want to get the publication and then okay, even if it okay, I can see so is it the ones that we have to pay for those publications, or these ones are free to access them, the Gazette?
The Gazette, I am not sure whether they are to be paid for. Or yeah, I suppose that they are to be paid for because the printing is actually expensive. It's done by the government printer in Lagos and all this. If you have to get a physical copy, I think I'm sure there's a token to be paid for.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about the online copy? If you are to source from the PCN website?
I think that you can see the online copy, but you may not be able to download it.
Okay, you might not be able to download it.
Yes.
All right. Okay. In this regards now, how do we? Because I think
it's very easy. You see, as an interest group of the PSN, we are very much interested in the welfare of young pharmacists because they form the majority of the pharmacists in Nigeria and the Nigerian population at large. So I think it's just for you people to make a case for it, and some copies can be made available for you directly from So your people in Abuja can contact the registry of the PCN, and I'm sure you will get a few copies, even if it means photocopying and distributing to your members, or even a soft copy.
All right. Thank you very much for that. We will surely get that done this new week.
Yes, please do.
So that we also circulate to everybody. So
yes, because it is our desire to ensure that everybody has knowledge about it. Everybody is aware of it. Everybody reads it, because that is the only way that people can comply with regulations. If they know that those regulations exist and they know the contents, it will guide them a lot.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, sir, for that. I don't know if there's anybody with another question. So before I ask my own question as well. Okay, but pending that, if you have any question, please just indicate by raising up your hands. Let me check the chat box. I don't know if there are
questions. There should be.
Sorry, PRO, our working PRO pharmacist Hope Onyemechi. Please help me just take a glance at the chat box for questions.
All right, that's fine.
All right, okay. So pending that, so one of the reasons why okay. Any question?
Yeah, someone was requesting that we can share, not really a question, someone was requesting if we can share the new PCN Act on this platform. Probably just maybe display it as time goes on. I think this particular chapter one, you can share your screen and just display so that you can follow while speaking. Thank you.
Sorry, I didn't get that clearly.
Right, someone was requesting if the new PCN Act, the document, can be shared here. But I think to make it easier, what we can do is that we can just, from your hand, you can share your screen, or maybe a co-host, I can share the screen so that while the whole discussion is going on, the areas that we're talking about can be displayed so that people can really look at it and follow.
All right, okay, no problem. I'll make you co-host now. So, but then there's another question. Just help me check the chat, but there's another question there.
Yes, I just saw one now. The person said, good afternoon, sir. Thank you for honoring YP's invitation. My question is that how can online pharmacy be verified that it is registered by the council? That's question one. And question two says, for a pharmacy to pharmacy distribution online provider, what regulations apply to it? I don't know if
what?
The first question says, how can online pharmacy be verified?
Be verified.
Is registered by the council.
Yeah, and the second one?
The second one says, for a pharmacy to pharmacy distribution, that's in between pharmacy to pharmacy distribution, online provider. As for an online provider who renders the services of pharmacy to pharmacy distribution, what regulations apply to such a person?
Yes. Okay. Can I go on?
Yes, sir. You can.
Okay, beginning with the last, what regulations apply to such a pharmacy? There are no different sets of regulations for each set of or satellite pharmacy. The same regulations will apply, the same general regulations will apply. The satellite pharmacy regulations, whatever stipulated there, will apply to any satellite pharmacy, whether from pharmacy to pharmacy or from pharmacy to patient or from pharmacy distribution to retail to wholesales, whatever. Is the same general regulations that will apply as to licensure, inspection, and other things. Maybe slight differences, when it comes to specific, but it's not something that, I can just say off the mark like that. They are, like I told you, the regulations are new, so the details will be there. I don't want to say something that may not be exactly correct in the regulations, but the general requirements are the same. Just like if you want to do a wholesales or retails or distribution pharmacy that is physically on ground, inspection has to be done after the payment of specified fees and application. Inspection is done, approval is given, and of course, the presence of a physical premises on ground has to be verified. And once the conditions are met, then licensure is done, and then monitoring will be done almost on a daily basis. And then a register, of course, will be kept for such premises. And of course, there are specific requirements that will be put on ground. For instance, we may not allow all categories of medications to be put on sale because of the implications of it. Of course, you know that that was how the issue of the person who was selling controlled substances online came to be known by the NDLA, and the NDLA made arrest of a pharmacist and a proprietor in Abuja, and they are still under investigation. So it's not all categories of medications that are going to be allowed under the online pharmacy. No, we cannot. There is nowhere, even in the US, where the regulations are almost watertight, will they allow controlled or scheduled poisons to be sold online. Then the second one is, how do you verify whether an online pharmacy is registered? It's very simple. The section of the Pharmacy Act that mandates the registrar to keep a set of registers of all premises, whether it be wholesale, retail, distribution, manufacturing, importation, satellite, online. So such registers will be kept, and from time to time, the registers will be uploaded on the PCN website, and copies will be available at our offices nationwide for anybody to verify. So once it is licensed, it will be on our database, just like a retail pharmacy or wholesale or importation or manufacturing. Are we there?
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
We're able to get a document from the website, but I think that one is referring to 2020. So maybe we'll just hold on.
Is it the online pharmacy?
Yes, yes.
Okay, regulations.
Yes, like the official that. But
yes, it may be the one. I may be wrong quoting 2022. Okay, maybe I'm talking of the most recently released ones. That one is not the online. Yes, 2020. Okay, that's right. It should be the most current one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that means that it's the current one, like the most current, regardless of the 2020. Right.
That's right. It's the first edition and it's still the current edition.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes,
I
it's
was
not
I
been
was a
reviewed.
bit confused because I was seeing it was still carrying Pharmacists Council of Nigeria.
Yes, Pharmacists Council. That's right.
Yeah, so
It
I
is
was a
valid.
bit confused. That's why I said let me clarify.
Yeah, it's valid. It's valid.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. So I will, of course, be sharing this to our members via email and also via our website.
Yes,
and
please,
also
please
via
do.
our WhatsApp
Your
platform,
platforms.
the Telegram
Yes,
platform
yeah.
as well, so that
Yeah.
we get and then of course we surely revisit some salient parts as well in specific, so that we'll
Yes,
take
why
the
not?
most pressing from YPs and then we visit that one specifically.
Yeah.
Yes, since you offered to make yourself available whenever we.
Yes, yes. And
Alright.
if it is even amenable to you, any week that you want some interaction with me, it may not be on Zoom. You can add me to your WhatsApp group for that particular week or the number of days, and then we can interact on your WhatsApp, and then you take me out when we finish.
All right, sir. Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you very much, sir.
Yeah, that was great.
No problem. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Just my own question.
I think you should
Yes.
mute that person.
Okay, let me.
Yes, yes. Wow.
Oh, let me mute everybody from here.
Yeah, that's the right thing to do, unless if the person is asking question.
All right, I've done that. All right. Okay. So I actually have my first question is about obviously the incident that happened with the lady pharmacist that NDLEA picked up. That particular incident have actually been a concern to all of us, and that incident is actually one of the reasons why we deemed it fit that we have such interactions with you. It has actually brought a lot of controversy, and then we've actually tried to explain to our own people, but then we still need you to put in some words and let's understand some parts here. From what I actually read, I was meant to understand that she wasn't registered as a pharmacist to practice. That's number one. Number two, she was actually also distributing a controlled substance. Yeah, she was distributing a controlled substance. And now here comes the question. We are pharmacists, and then our license permits us to distribute, import, export, manufacture drugs, and even poisons. So one begins to wonder, why then would she be apprehended for marketing or for distributing pentazocine? So I would like to hear from you. Just give us maybe some background of the story, and then further you just give us some advice. Thank you very much, sir.
I think it's muted. It's muted.
Okay, sir, you can unmute yourself.
So if your national chairman or the president was at the last council meeting on the 8th of August in Gombe,
Certainly,
and
sir,
this specific question was asked, and I responded to it, and I'll still respond to it the same way. That
Thank
the
you, sir.
license permits you to do everything. At the end of the day, look at it. It says, I may not remember specifically the word, but in accordance. No, in accordance with a particular law, isn't it?
Yes, let me just pull up my
under the Pharmacy Council Act is licensed to do this, do that, do this, and all the doable things. Right.
Yes,
so that means that you have already been tied down under a law.
Okay. All right.
Despite the fact that your license confers you wide jurisdiction, but it is within the ambit of the law, and you have to follow due process. You have to follow due process. You said, and you are correct, that at the time that she was apprehended, she was not registered to practice as a pharmacist. That means she didn't have a license. Secondly, at where was she apprehended? In the airport. So the channel of distribution, we are not saying that you cannot bill something to the airport, but on further inquiry, you know, just like police now, you are moving with property in your car, a refrigerator. They see it. You cannot provide evidence that it belongs to you. They suspect it may have been stolen or whatever. They take you to police station, they impound it. At the end of the day, if you are able to provide credible evidence that it belongs to you, you will suffer inconvenience, but it will be released to you. So the same thing happened to her, but by the time it was traced to Kaduna, the clinic said that, one, she was no longer in their services, the hospital, that she was no longer in their services, but she made the order in their name.
Wow.
So that is impersonation. Secondly, the quantity was so much. Third, when further checks were made, they discovered that that was not the first time that was made, according to her own confession. That was not the first time. Now, the bottom line is that whatever you are permitted to do under your license must follow the due process of the law. That you are allowed to stock, import, sell this tramadol, pentazocine, codeine, and the rest of them doesn't mean that you go to the marketplace and put it in a basket and sit down under a canopy and be selling. The law stipulates that you must have a set of premises, you must keep a set of registers, you must have good storage conditions, and you must be a pharmacist, and so on and so forth. All those things, she has fallen short of them. She has fallen short of them. And if your president will tell you what the president of PSN said, is that we cannot go near that case because we will only soil our name as a professional body. What she did was criminal. What she did was unethical. In fact, it's only if we want to be lenient with her that we will not call her to investigating panel thereafter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's
so
quite
the general admonishment I will give to our colleagues is that whatever you are empowered to do by your license is not a blank check. It's not a blank check. You have to follow the due process of the law. Let me tell you, in the USA, not every pharmacist can stock Schedule 3 poisons, that is controlled substances, like morphine, petidine, pentazocine, and the rest of them. Not any pharmacy will stock it. You must have special training by the DEA, Drug Enforcement Agency, which is our own equivalent of our own NDLEA. So you'll be trained specially in the handling of such medications, and you'll be given a DEA number and a training certificate. The same thing for the doctors who will prescribe those controlled drugs. They will be trained by the DEA, and they will be given a DEA number, and they will be given certification. So any doctor prescribing petidine, for instance, or fentanyl, will put his DEA number. If he doesn't have a DEA number, he doesn't prescribe. You, the pharmacist you are dispensing, you put your DEA number. If you don't have a DEA number, you are not authorized by DEA to dispense, you don't dispense. You see that? So we may come to that in Nigeria too, in due time.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. That was quite an exposition and a very thick background very good background to the case. It's actually good that first of all, it's actually good that pharmacists actually raised concern, especially young pharmacists, that I thought we are pharmacists, we are meant to. It's actually very good because it shows that at least in a way
yes.
we understand what we can do.
Yes.
And it's actually good that we are being clarified. We are getting clarification on, okay, from elders, that look at what happened actually.
Yes.
Because sometimes when we look at our license, to say having duly paid the prescribed fee is hereby licensed to practice pharmacy. I think sometimes we actually neglect the part that says under the Pharmacy Council of Nigeria establishment
Act. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so we most time look at the fact that we are authorized to import, export, mix, compound, prepare, dispense, counsel, sell, procure, and distribute drugs, medicines, and poison. What a very sweet names there. That's actually a huge power. But then we meant to understand that regardless of the license,
it must be exercised with responsibility.
Yes. And the fact that that means we must ensure that we register every year. We register to practice
very quickly.
All right. Okay.
Very quickly.
So
and I tell people that even if you have a premises, you can always register for your annual license first. You can do it. You can do it without anything delaying you. Then you can process all the other things that may necessitate you to pay your dues and all the rest, before you now get your premises license. Because see her now, she was not caught in a premises. The products were apprehended at the airport and she came into the picture. If only she had her license, things might even be lighter. We can make a case for her with the NDLA that let them release her to us, and we deal with her professionally. We have done that before now in the case of that lady that was killed as a result of overdose of a controlled drug in Lagos, where some pharmacies dispensed it. When we checked and saw that they were duly licensed, the premises was duly licensed, we made a case and the court agreed. That was how we let those pharmacies off the hook. Otherwise, they would have been in jail. But for her, at the time she was apprehended, she didn't have a license.
Oh, all right.
This 3,000, 1,000, 4, 5, we are seeing it as if it's a trivial thing. It's not trivial.
All right.
It's not trivial. Let
much,
me tell you, the license is very important. There was a time that I was being delayed at a US airport, asking some questions. And when I said I was a pharmacist, they asked me to show my license. Immediately I showed it. They apologized to me and let me go.
Oh.
Wow.
Just like that, not medicines related. Yes, and I said, look, I'm a pharmacist. Well, some prescription medications, my own medications that I'm using. They were asking a lot of questions about it. That why was I carrying such a quantity? I said, this is how long I intend to stay here. I don't have health insurance. I'm not registered here. So how am I going to get it? If my own is exhausted, I have to calculate how long I will stay times the dose and the number of times I will take the dose per day. So that accounts for this. And when I told the man was so curious, say, are you a medical practitioner? I said, I'm a pharmacist. He said, oh, can we see your license? Are you licensed in your country? Immediately I showed my license. He apologized profusely and let me go.
No, that's actually good to know.
Yeah.
That's actually good to hear and good to know. Thank you very much, sir, for that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, sir. Pharmacist Ifoma Uzu, one-time PSN-YPG.
Yes, I know Ifoma. She's in Abuja now.
Please, you have the floor.
Okay. Good evening, sir, and good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Ifoma. How are you?
I'm very proud that you know me. I'm blushing here.
Yeah, I know you.
Very fine. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for the good insight that you have given to us.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Yes, sir. So I actually would want to ask a question. License to practice, annual license to practice before any other thing. When I was coordinator and even currently, I usually have a problem of people finding it difficult to, get a scratch card to renew their annual license to practice, especially when they are not working or when they don't have a job yet. So I don't know if it is possible or there's a way that the council can work on it, because without paying your dues, you actually find difficult being able to renew your licenses. When you go to the secretariat, both here and in other states that I know people, they will not give you a scratch card to log in and renew your license, pending when maybe you get something or you get the money to pay the PSN and other technical and interest group dues. So is there any way around it? Because you see, some people will tell you that it seems that they are obligated to be a part of a society even when they don't want to be part of it, given that the constitution of the country gives you freedom of association. And
Absolutely.
no matter what people say, I am actually in support of the fact that we should identify with our society. But because of that limitation, even when people don't have the money to pay at that time, they cannot renew their license just because of that that caveat of you have to have a clearance from the society and the technical groups to get this. So is there any way around it, sir?
Yes, I can clarify. I agree with you completely. We should identify with our professional group. And on the other hand, I have always told our professional leaders, make the professional association so attractive that people want to voluntarily pay your dues, not under duress. Not under duress. That is the truth. I am a fellow of the PSN. Nobody pushes me to pay my dues. For the board of fellows alone, every year I pay 30,000 dues, exclusive of the ones I pay to my state PSN, my technical group, and the building levy, professional defense fund, and all the other supplementary payments. Now, this is what a lot of our colleagues, particularly the leaders in the PSN, will not want to hear. But the truth is that we must tell ourselves, and there is no law that says you must pay annual dues before you renew your license. The other time, a medical doctor took the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria to court concerning this same issue of the Medical and Dental Council using its instrumentality to, as he put it, to force doctors to pay NMA dues even when they are not members of the NMA. And he went to court, and the court upheld his petition and even asked the Medical and Dental Council to refund to him over a long time all the fees they used the instrumentality to collect on behalf of the NMA. Now, translate that to Pharmacy Council of Nigeria and Pharmacy and PSN. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. So we are supposed to renew our license regardless of payment of any dues. Because see, when the law catches up with you, nobody will listen to your excuse that I was waiting to pay my professional association dues. The court will not hear that from you. So you will be in for it. So let it be clear that in as much as we encourage our pharmacists to pay their professional dues to the association, that strictly shouldn't be a condition precedent upon which pharmacists must renew their license. In other words, a pharmacist has a right to renew his or her license without paying any PSN dues, without paying any SCPN dues, without paying any AHAB dues. That is the truth. That is the position of the law. That is reality. Therefore, way forward, if you have any good reason not to be able to pay the dues to get the scratch card, walk to our own office anywhere, meet the head of that office and tell him that for you, you don't have money to pay the professional dues now, or you are not even employed to say that your employer will pay the dues for you, but you want to renew your license. Here is your remitter payment to PCN. whether it's 1,000 naira or 3,000 or 4,500. If you are like me, our office should be able to give you scratch card for you to renew your license. That is the truth. Are we there?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
I am. Thank you very much,
Okay.
sir, for the
So
rest.
that is it.
All right.
Yes, so we keep it within us because, like I told you, your PSN people, they don't want to hear that. That is the truth.
Yes,
So, but me, I tell them that look. Somebody was even saying that if you say this, they will defellow you. I say, take your fellowship. If truth must not be told because I'm a fellow, take your fellowship. So it's as simple as that. We cannot use collection of our professional dues to impede. Like if somebody goes to court now, he's going to disgrace us on this. So we don't want that to be disgraced. I'm a very loyal member of the PSN. That's why I'm a fellow. And I pay my dues without, nobody has ever, put me under duress to pay PSN dues. And I pay my dues. The records are there. I pay my dues. So we should make the association attractive enough to make members want to pay their dues voluntarily. Things are hard enough now than for somebody. You can see the implication is that, now we have been able to put it under the new Pharmacy Act that licenses must be renewed by 31st March. Before it was 31st January. So now you have a window, but even that window is not covered by law. As long as our license says this license expired on 31st of December, that means by 1st January, you don't have a license, you don't have any excuse. That's why you should apply for the license on 31st December. So that even if it's not issued by 1st January, you have your evidence, you fulfill the requirement of the law by applying. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for that. So what this means is that we should try to renew our licenses even when we don't have money for the professional.
Yes.
We should make efforts.
Yes, because the truth is that all these fees put together is a huge sum of money.
Actually,
and
very correct.
Now they are insisting that you must use one portal to pay. That means if the money is not complete, you can't pay.
Okay.
Or does the portal accept installmental payment?
Yeah, I think the portal, you can uncheck some dues when you don't want to pay. Yeah.
So you can manage.
You can uncheck.
Yes, so you can pay the ones that you can pay.
Yes.
You can pay the ones that you can pay, and then the others you can pay them installmentally, so that you get this license early enough. So that we balance it now. We try to also be loyal to our professional association, but we fulfill the obligations of the law too. It's a delicate balancing act.
Yes, so very important.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Okay. Before I ask the other question, Pharmacist King, your hand is up. Please, you have the floor. You can unmute yourself.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, just really your time and the knowledge you've shared to us, as well as the experiences. You briefly touched what I want to say.
Yeah.
Issue of the licensing, in particular, annual license. You agree with me that for some young pharmacists now, that maybe they are not practicing as a pharmacist, and maybe after like 2 years, 3 years, you are coming back, maybe you want to go back to the field, you are going to pay fine for those years you did not, even if you were not practicing as a pharmacist. So this draws me back to the issue at hand for our sister. I don't really know much about her problem, or what happened, what transpired. So this draws me back to it because first, she's a pharmacist. Even if she comes back after 4 years to renew, she's still going to pay for those years the PCN did not even come or did not make a case for her. So I think that should also be into consideration. As much as there's a fine for you, if there's a fine for something, it means you are still in that body, pending whenever you are no longer in the body because there is a fine for you for not registering them. So I think maybe if PCN can reconsider that for her, because there is a fine for anybody that does not register in that year. She's a pharmacist.
Now listen, before you go too far. There is a fine, and that fine is only when you pay the required fee for that year. So the fine and the required fee are blocked together. So what we are saying in our own case, she has not paid the requisite fees even for this year. We are not talking of previous years. For this year, she hasn't paid yet. So how do you protect somebody who has not even expressed intention to be licensed? Okay. You get it?
Yes, yes.
She has not applied for license. We don't give license automatically.
Okay. So
you have to apply.
This draws me back to my second question. You agree with me that we have medical reps in Nigeria, and I
you
could
have
say
what?
We have medical reps.
Yes.
In Nigeria, and I can confidently say that 50% or more than 50% are not pharmacists, but are dealing with drugs.
Thank you very much.
So okay.
Maybe complete your question.
Okay, so now we, as a pharmacist, we under PCN, that is the body that regulates the act of drugs and everything.
Yeah, regulates pharmacy practice, education, and training in all aspects and ramifications.
Yeah. So these persons don't even have, most of them don't even have the pharmacy background knowledge. Secondly, they don't even have a license to they don't even have a body that even control them. Not to talk about licensing body. So, and these people freely do this stuff in Nigeria as a whole. So I in my own way, looking at it, I just feel the body, because for every young pharmacist that is outside the field, there's a very thin line for you to be a corporate. The line is very thin, because I just feel maybe the body is not doing well enough for them. Yes, because when a time like this comes, you may discover that you are not even seeing the body. The body may not be there. So there's a very thin line for every young, and we can easily see the loopholes everywhere. But they're like they just pay deaf ear, or they pretend it does not exist. So until when the pharmacist fall a falter into it, a young pharmacist in particular, then they bring out those laws, that these laws are actually existing.
No, not necessarily a young pharmacist in particular. We don't have any inordinate bias against not a young pharmacist. So let me put that record straight. Then you see, the issue is that ignorance is not admitted in law as innocence. That you don't know the law exists doesn't give you immunity against the law. And in that lady's case you keep referring to, it's not the same thing as the case of the medical reps that don't have sales reps that are not pharmacists. There are two different cases. In her own case, she committed an offense that is clearly spelled out under the law. And to make it worse, she didn't even care to get her license for the year, the basic legal requirement to protect her first and foremost. She didn't. So I don't think it is fair to continue to refer to her case that the body, paid deaf ears and all this. No, please let us get that very, very clear. Now, coming to specifics, all these things you are saying are now things of the past. If you listen to my earlier introduction, I talked about pharmaceutical and sales reps, control and regulation, gazette. So under the new Pharmacy Act, Section 4, like I said earlier, we captured pharmaceutical reps, we captured sales reps, because even before then we had been worried about the issue of non-pharmacists be medical reps, whether they are biochemists, whether they are chemists, whether they are accountants, whether they are this or that, it doesn't matter. They're not pharmacists. Now, let me give you a case study, an example. Swiffer. Swiffer, some 3 years ago or 4 years ago, got a managing director in Nigeria, a French man, of course, expectedly, who now said, look, all these controlled drugs, like Lexotan, diazepam, and the rest of them for Swiffer shouldn't be handled by non-pharmacists, because he discovered that there was a lot of malpractice perpetrated by non-pharmacists handling controlled drugs in Swiffer. They will create artificial scarcity for Lexotan and diazepam. And then the previous management itself didn't act professionally enough. I have seen a pack of Lexotan, a roll, what we traders call a roll, 10 packs, whether 1.5 mg, or that is the Talent brand, whether 1.5 mg or 3 mg, where they said, buy 10 packs, get how many packs free? Bromazepam. You see that kind of thing? So the man wanted to professionalize and arrest all these malpractices. Then those who were perpetrating it and benefiting from it decided to gang up and cause they caused an industrial action in Swiffer and paralyzed the operations of the organization. And the man was really handicapped, and he took his management and came to PCN. I was in that meeting with the registrar, and we saw reason with him, and we said, no, this must stop. So we backed him up, and at the end of the day, the malpractice stopped. Now in Swiffer, I stand corrected, but you will hardly get a non-pharmacist carrying those controlled drugs. Now back to the pharmaceutical and sales reps. So we have regulations for pharmaceutical and sales reps, which stipulate that for you to be a pharmaceutical rep, you must be a pharmacist. And this and that, A, B, C, D, E, F, are the drugs that you can detail. We call it detailing. Then for the sales reps, you are non-pharmacists. These are the OTC medications you can market. Detailing, marketing. Now you know what detailing means, including talking to doctors, doing clinical meetings, and all those. Marketing is just to go and say the sweet things, that water is the best drink. It cures this, it cures that. Whereas we know that water is not a medicine, right? Okay, so we said for you, we must issue you permit as PCN, as a sales rep. And we must have a comprehensive database of all sales reps and pharmaceutical reps for all the companies. And we will issue them additional licensure. And we will organize training programs for them from time to time and certify them. And for you to move from one company to the other, PCN must clear you. So this is how we have brought regulation on their neck. And now I'm telling you, moving forward, all those things you are talking about will not happen. Because we have also put under offenses. We will sanction the company, fines as much as 5 million naira. If we catch a company violating those regulations, we catch a non-pharmacist of your company carrying controlled substances, or even the pharmacist doing hanky-panky. I can go on and on, but the basic thing is that we have brought them squarely under our regulation. And I assure you that moving forward, those malpractices will be a thing of the past. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. I must say that I'm actually happy to hear this. To hear this part of the regulation for the medical representatives and the
yes,
for non-pharmacists.
Yes, and because of what happened now, that Swiffer case, my classmate who was the MD of Swiffer though he retired from there, was initially employed as a consultant. Now he's back there full time as farmer director. Director. Yes, and now SWIFA is a much, much better organization.
All right. Thank you, actually. Thank you, because I know this what you just said now has been has been bothering a lot of young
pharmacists. I know.
Of young pharmacists. We keep wondering.
Yes.
We still non-pharmacists.
Yeah.
You carry drugs, control drugs like.
So I know now it's not only you guys. We know now. We know.
And then even the pharmacists, we are scared of carrying control medication.
Yes, absolutely.
And then you will not act with impunity.
And as a pharmacist, you will not act with impunity.
Yeah, so
whereas they don't care. Look at the codeine case now. Was it a pharmacist?
It was not a pharmacist.
But it blew the whole case open, and look at what happened. Codeine has been banned in Nigeria. It was a non-pharmacist sales rep of EMZO.
True.
That the BBC guys went underground to interview with evidence. So you can see. So all those things will be a thing of the past, God willing, with our regulation. Because before, all those things are not, the regulations were not rooted in the law. Now the law has captured them and the regulations are there. There's no hiding place for any criminal now.
All right. We actually hope very well that this will be really acted upon. I know, okay.
Yes,
I think
with the cooperation of everybody, it will work.
Okay.
It will work.
I believe that the Gazette is also new. So
yes. In fact, those gazettes
also get.
Yes. The gazettes, I think pharmaceutical and sales reps patent proprietary. Yes. Okay, location. Okay, the pharmaceutical and sales reps gazette, I think it was 2020 also.
Okay.
I think it's also 2020, like the satellite pharmacy and the online pharmacy.
All right, sir. So
yes.
we really, especially with the young pharmacists, we really want to see that come into.
Yes. And in addition, also, we have a new gazette published this year, January actually, for Schedule of Fees and Charges Regulations 2023. Just been released. So location approval, inspection and licensing, admin charges, MCPD, certification of documents, letter of good standing, and all the rest of them. Then we also have for PPMV, for the first time ever, we have gazetted regulation on PPMV. And if you check in the new Pharmacy Act now, PPMV is specifically captured squarely under the regulation of the PCN, now backed by official gazette, official gazette number 16, volume 110, published 24th January 2023.
Okay.
These are documents that are already operative effective the day they were published. Then the pharmaceutical premises location inspection, structure, monitoring and enforcement regulations 2022. So all these were published this year. 2023. All these were published this year. 3 gazettes in one fell swoop came into being. One, a revised one, the 2 are brand new. So we are moving, and the others are in the pipeline. So that for any major area of practice, we have specific regulations guiding them with offenses and punishment and fines under it. And if you want to argue that this is just a gazette, we refer you to the section of the new Pharmacy Act that captures it as an offense and is punishable. So no hiding place.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank
you very much, sir. This is one of the best news we've had today as well.
Yeah, you're welcome.
One of the best news. All right. Thank you very much. Okay. I think pharmacist, that's chairman. the chairman actually raised his hand up. So please, you have the floor,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, for your time once more.
You're welcome, Mr. Chairman.
So I noticed the discussion has digressed a little, but highly impactful.
Yes, it will digress naturally.
So I like to know how can the YPG be of help to the PCN in this following regard, because we are eager to be of help to the PCN.
Yeah.
Now,
absolutely.
if you look at all these documents, the gazetted documents and all of that, yes, sets to control and bring out good pharmacy practice.
Yes.
But you will notice that the non-pharmacists are into some kind of practices that are improper. In fact, they do improper practices much more than the pharmacists. Example,
agreed.
There are documents, laws against the hawking of drugs, but up till now, it's ongoing. And secondly, the private clinics or hospitals, you go there sometimes, you see a community health extension worker ahead in the pharmacy department, serving as the HOD of the hospital, then a young pharmacist employed below the rank of that particular person, or even a secondarian being placed ahead of a pharmacist. What does the law say about such practices, and how can we be of help to PCN? I don't know if whistleblowing from the YPG can be of help to the PCN for better.
Absolutely,
for better practice.
That's one way. That's one way you can help us. Secondly, you can help us by disseminating the information we are pushing out. We have a lot of channels now. We have Twitter handle, we have a Facebook group, we have our monthly registry update published on the first of every month. From a 1 or 2 page document now, at times it goes to 15 pages, 18. I have seen 18 pages. So a lot of updates, and so you can help us be the change agents to disseminate wider these informations and narratives we are pushing out. Then, talking of hawking specifically, hawking is squarely under the purview of NAFDAC. That is to check drug hawkers, so-called itinerant drug hawkers, those who carry in baskets and in cartons, right? So that one is squarely under the purview of NAFDAC, because they are the ones that regulate product marketing, quality of product, and marketing of product. We take care of the premises, the professional, and the practice, the 3 Ps we call them. All right. So, but what one of our former registrars, without necessarily mentioning the name, always ask our colleagues is that wherever you see drugs, what does the law say? The law says that it is only pharmacies and registered pharmaceutical premises that are allowed under the law, licensed under the law, to import, export, manufacture, compound, distribute, retail, sell drugs and poisons. Those hawkers, where do they get their products? You will say open markets. Open markets, if you go there, who is funding the open markets? I wish I could come out with what I know. It will be a disgrace to us in the profession if I tell you the names of the people who supply the open drug markets. You will not recover from that shock for a long time. So let us not upset the apple cart. We are working internally to purge ourselves and cleanse ourselves, because some of the questions you ask, if we want to answer them honestly, with all the knowledge that is available to us, you don't want to get the answer. You don't want, I'm sure you know what I mean. So where do they get their medications? We are told that whatever disposal of medications, disposal records, when we talk of disposal records, purchase invoice, sales invoice, importation way bills, manufacturing, batch manufacturing records for manufacturers, and all the gamut of information. Let me tell you, we went long ago in PCN. We had a special inspection committee called the Drug Distribution Inspection Committee, DDIC. We went to a particular premises in Lagos, a very prominent one. The managing director was a pharmacist. They kept tossing us up and down. By the time we settled down in one place, we discovered that they didn't have BMR for any of their products. Then, as we were checking, somebody cleverly took a file tagged Onisha Head Bridge Market and dropped it in a dustbin. When we finished, one of us picked the file and said, well, how about this? Nobody could say anything. The MD was sweating profusely. A very prominent pharmacist. So we are, my brother, we are our own problems. Don't push it to the non-pharmacists. We are the ones encouraging them. That is the bitter truth. And I tell people there's nothing bitter about the truth. It's people that feel bitter about the truth. Truth is one of the sweetest things that I know. But that is the truth. It is our colleagues in the manufacturing industry that are feeding the open drug markets. Idumota, Headbridge, Ariaria. It is our colleagues. Those products, you find branded products in the name of the companies that I don't need to tell you, are they fake? They are not fake products. You go there, you see the vehicles, you see the medical reps who are pharmacists, some of them maybe your classmates. You see them selling to them. You want to buy from them. They will tell you no, you buy from them, from the Idumota people, because they will make a profit. Whereas your colleague could sell to you at a lower price. He will not sell to you. Let's tell each other the truth. That is the truth. We are the cause of our own problems. Let us not always blame. I'm not saying the non-pharmacists are not to be blamed for some of the things, but the root cause, you know, you talked about digression. Now, if you take a course on conflict resolution, we talk about the conflict tree. It has leaves, it has branches, it has the trunk, it has the root. So when you want to resolve a conflict, you start with the roots. By the time you kill the root, the tree does not exist. Sure. So also in our own case, let me not go too far, but I think I have given you the necessary information.
Okay. So, sir, sorry, what does the law says about private hospital practice?
Private hospitals,
and their pharmacy
private
setting?
hospitals, the law is not separate on them, that they must employ pharmacists, you know, if they have to dispense drugs, they must employ pharmacists. But there's also a law, which is not our own law, that says that doctors can keep a minimal quantity of medications for exclusive use of the patients, which they are abusing. Now you are talking of private hospitals. What of our own government hospitals? There are states that, there is a state that told us, you remember at the PSN Council meeting on 8 August, that there's a state that has only one pharmacist. If he retires, they will have none. And he's on the verge of retirement. Did you not hear that?
Yes, sir.
So we should go and close all the hospitals in that state. Is that practicable? Answer is no. So some of the things, they are offenses, but the implication of meting out punishment against them, you have to weigh it. A state that has 42 hospitals, only 8 pharmacies. Implication is that you go and close 38 Abi or 34. You go and close 34 hospitals. Can you do that in a state?
No.
Absolutely. So you see our dilemma. At times our hands are tied. Like the judges will also say.
Sure. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for that question. Pharmacist Angela Ogbeche, I think your hand was up. I don't know if you still intend to ask your question, but if you do, please indicate again by raising up your hand. And on the chat box, we have some couple of questions here. Okay, the first one has been answered about hawking. Okay,
Yeah.
the other one is also, I have a question that is asking about PCN tackling non-pharmacists working at community pharmacy and those pharmacy premises being run by non-pharmacists. Okay, let me just finish. And then another question is that can YPs be fully integrated into the PIC? Okay, the other one is about the hospital pharmacies, which have been tackled as well, answered. Oh, okay. I think that's okay, there's one, the last one. All these hospital pharmacies that aren't registered nor have a pharmacy but still sell controlled drugs like chalk. Okay, I think she's actually talking about PCN, handling
Yeah,
or
it's the
tackling.
same. I've answered about
Yes, we've
hospital
answered
pharmacy.
that.
Whatever is there, I've answered the question.
Yes. Okay. Except for the though it's not within the scope of today's topic, which is non-pharmacies in community pharmacy. It's not really
No, but
within.
I mean, I can answer it. I can
Yes,
answer
sure.
any question really.
All right, sir.
Non-pharmacies within the scope of community pharmacy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you see, strictly speaking, community pharmacy or retail pharmacy by law is supposed to be owned and operated only by pharmacists. But like under the new Pharmacy Act now, what it requires for you to run a community or retail pharmacy is that you don't even have to incorporate it, but you have to tie it to your name. I am Peter Elia now. If I want to say strictly, I will operate a retail pharmacy so that whoever is operating as such and is not a pharmacist can be excluded, is that I must name it Peter Elia Pharmacy, not Atlantic Standard Pharmacy, not a Pacific Pharmacy, not Sahara Pharmacy. I'm using all these three names because I know they are neutral names. I am not sure of anyone that is using them. I am using one of them. I have not even started yet. So that is the situation. Otherwise, any company, a corporate body can run a retail pharmacy or even a chain pharmacy if he employs the services of pharmacists. It's as straightforward as that.
Okay.
Yes.
I seem not to understand clearly.
No, what is there is that if you want to operate a retail pharmacy or a community pharmacy, you say non-pharmacy should not operate it. So you, the pharmacy, you want to operate it, you must name it by your name. Your own must be Greg's Pharmacy or Sam Greg. Do you understand?
Or as the name appears on the license.
Absolutely, on your annual license. The same name should appear on the premises license. You understand it now? Are you there? Oh, no.
Okay, sorry, I was muted. I forgot to unmute.
So
that means if I am to open a new pharmacy now.
Yes. And you are, yes. But as long as it's not named in your specific name, then they can do any category of practice.
Such as?
Wholesale.
Okay,
retail.
Wholesale. Retail, okay.
Retail even. Yes, they can do retail. as long as they employ the services of pharmacists or a pharmacist.
Okay, that means to some extent the law permits that you have a non-pharmacist
Yes,
co-owned.
all this, let me tell you, all these pharmacies that are owned, chain pharmacies in the US, Walmart is not owned by pharmacists.
Okay.
Yeah, Walmart is not owned by pharmacists. Or the Boots, even the Boots of Nottingham in England. The Boots is still one of the retail chains in the UK. It's not owned by pharmacists.
Yeah.
So under the new Pharmacy Act, this is what it requires. You want to do your pharmacy as a pharmacist, yes. You own it 100%. You call it Peter Ilia Pharmacy or Sam Gregg Pharmacy or whatever name that is your name, a real name, not a name you go and register with Corporate Affairs Commission. Then if you like, you can incorporate it. If you don't like, you can run it like that with all the advantages and disadvantages accruing to any of the two that I said. But a corporate organization can also run a retail or a chain or wholesales or distribution or importation. But the only thing is that the corporate body that can run a retail will run retail. They should not counsel. Retailing is when somebody comes, you know, he wants to buy 1 or 2 items that he comes on his own, not with prescription. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Not with prescription. If it's with prescription, it means you do counseling, you do advanced drug monitoring, you do all the gamut of pharmaceutical practice ingredients there, which you can't do. But you that are doing Peter Ilia Pharmacy, you can do all those ones. But my question is that how easy is it to operationalize that and strictly apply the laws? You know, in Nigeria, the major thing is not whether it is the regulators that are having the problem. What of the courts? Somebody takes you to court on a very trivial thing, technicalities. Like the PPMV people took us to court now and paralyzed our enforcement. This year, we haven't done enforcement yet. 8 months, when we ought to have done 8 across the country. What was it? That we closed down the premises of the members without due process. That's extreme provocation. That we are supposed to give them notice of their misdemeanor and call them to a round table and advise them not to do it and monitor. And then when they infringe again, now we can close. Now that happened because they sued us under the old pharmacy law, whereby regulation of PPMV is not squarely placed under us by law. Now they cannot try that. Even now with the coming on stream of the new Pharmacy Act 2022, we can start enforcement with or without the court case. So you see the implication. Judges will tie our hands down once the lawyers can convince them that that is an infringement. And at times they don't look at it very thoroughly. They look at it on the surface and issue wide-ranging injunction against us and paralyze our activities. And then the public will be seeing us as a toothless bulldog.
Wow. That's a very tough one, but thank God for the new act.
Yes, the new act brings a lot of hope, I tell you.
Yeah, thank God for the new act, actually.
Yes, somebody was asking how can the YPG be incorporated into the PIC?
Into PIC, yes.
Well, my answer to that is if you make case, you are an interest group of the PSN. Now your chairman attends PSN council meeting. So you have a voice in PSN. You can make a case. They can incorporate. You see in the PPMVL committee, there's a provision, 1 member representing public interest. 1 member. It didn't specify who it should be, or whether it's a lawyer, a pharmacist, a nurse, a doctor, or a teacher. in the wisdom of the governing council, it decided to give it to a representative of the NAPMED. So who knows whether if you talk, they can, because the PIC is a creation of the PCN. It's part of what we do on the day-to-day administrative activities to run our show in the PCN. So we can modify the membership and say one member, including, representing public interest, who should be a pharmacist, or we refuse to specify, and we know who we want. We put the YPG. It's lobbying now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, sir. We
You're
work on
welcome.
that as well, because we.
Yes, please. Yes.
Thank you for that insight, and thanks to the pharmacy that asked that question.
Yeah.
Thanks, actually, because it's from there that we also take it up.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you very much. Pharmacist Osoko, please, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you, sir, for the opportunity. I joined the call late, for I caught him when he was saying something that has to do specifically with my question. Now, a pharmacy premise owned by a non-pharmacist employs a pharmacist. Can that premise sell retails? And then can they do consultation and the rest? Can the pharmacist...
I just answered that now. Okay, you said you just came in.
I just came in, so I heard the ending part. So
Okay. I said they cannot do consultation.
Okay.
They cannot do consultation. They can't counsel.
Okay, but they can
now
sell
maybe you want a supplement, you want Panadol, give me Panadol. Okay. You just collect and go. They shouldn't service prescription. Now that is retail. But a community pharmacy is a professional practice, which can only be done by pharmacists. Then you can screen prescriptions. You can review prescriptions. You can monitor adverse drug, effect.
Okay, sir. My second question now is, dealing with the same premise, they are considering whether they should switch, if the pharmacist can come take over the business completely. What is the due process as a young pharmacist where, okay, you have let's say an investor that wants to open a premise and is giving you the idea of, okay, I can employ you as the pharmacist and I retain the whole ownership, or you can, what's the advice you would give as a young pharmacist having that kind of offer? Either they create the pharmacy for you and then probably share profit. Like, what would be your advice, sir?
I don't seem to get you quite clearly.
Okay.
That are you saying somebody wants to fund you to establish a pharmacy?
Establish a pharmacy, exactly, sir.
There's nothing wrong with that. We don't come into that.
Okay.
Yes. You do your own legal agreement with the person. Then
okay. Maybe I should reframe the question.
Whatever name you want to give it, you go and give it. And once we are satisfied with your documentation, then we give you the necessary approval.
Sir, this is what I'm saying. The organization, let's say, for example, there is Christo Pharmacy that is owned by non-pharmacists. Now they have a pharmacist, probably as a son or as a family member that wants to take it.
Yes.
Now, is it that they switch, they collect a new CSC, switch the old?
They have to change. Yes, they have to change a CSC paper, specifically the memorandum and as form CO2.
Okay,
and
from
CO7.
Okay.
Those two key documents, they change it. That's the profile of directors.
Okay.
So that to give that pharmacist coming in new now a prominence among the directors, to convince us that the place can be construed to be owned by pharmacists.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you very, very much. I think Okay, someone was saying that, but it's being called fronting. I think she was responding to what the explanation you gave before.
Okay. Yeah, of course there is fronting. Some people do fronting. Like somebody, one young pharmacy did it. Unfortunately, she collected 8 million from the man, and she has escaped outside now. She's in Canada. She actually she was summoned to investigating panel, but she was not in the country. So
okay.
Those are some of the things. That's real fronting, because it's not owned by her. The owner later came out and came clean. That actually he just provided the funds. He's the owner of the business, but since they say he can't do retail, she volunteered to front for him, and he paid her the 8 million. When the place ab initio could not even be given location approval, she just went and put drugs inside and started selling to convince the man that she has secured the necessary approval. Now that happened when I was head of the Abuja zonal office, and I tackled it frontally. At the end of the day, the PCN enforcement went and closed it. She had the effrontery to go and open it. So in our own case now, if we don't punish her severely, how do we send a notice that we don't tolerate malpractice? Unfortunately, within the intervening period, she managed to escape to Canada. But we are working, we'll bring her to face the wrath of the law, because she was very arrogant to PCN. If I tell you that she insulted and abused me verbally, you will not believe it.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, sir. Just for clarity's purpose, we would like to, if you can help us differentiate the fronting from pharmacy, from non-pharmacy places.
Yes.
But okay. A proper
fronting is
distinction.
when you come as a pharmacist. It's not only young pharmacists that front row. Let me clarify.
True, very true.
No, it's not. I have caught a lot of old people that front, whereby you come and claim that you are the owner of the business, whereas you are not. It's a different thing, my brother. If your father says, look, you are a pharmacist, I have this money, take it and open a pharmacy as a your father cannot have an interest in that business. In fact, in the CSC paper, what will you put? Farm Sam Greg, pharmacist director, somebody Greg, director, somebody Greg, director, somebody Mrs. Greg, director. So we are convinced it's a family business. But fronting is when the person has not said, let's do the business together. No. Let me pay you some money as fee to perpetrate that malpractice. Incorporate it. Falsify the document to look as if you are the owner, and then get it registered. And then you either sit there as a mumu, you have no say, or you vamoose into thin air. And we come and discover that, what is happening? It's not you. That is fronting. It's different from, I am here now. Well, I'm retired. I don't have money. Then my elder brother says, look, I have 100 million, Peter. How do we do? Without fear, go and incorporate company, myself as director, himself as director, with the same surname. Put one or two of our children with the same surname. Who are you to tell us that it's not pharmacist owned? Pharmacist is one of the directors, and all the others are his brothers. That's family business. So for all professional and legal purposes, it's owned by pharmacists. And then we register it. That's not fronting. And we see you have control over it. You can give order. You can authorize the expenditure of money. You can authorize the purchase of stock. You can authorize the purchase of vehicles and the purchase of property. So how else are you an owner of a business? But in the fronting, you cannot authorize Shishio. They have paid you off. You understand?
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. All right. Thank you very much, sir, for that clarification.
Yeah.
We have about 8 minutes more. Let's just take some other questions. Okay. From Pharmacy Jalil Usman, what is the PCN doing for some premises that are located at a distance less than the minimum distance specified by law from government hospital?
What are we supposed to do?
Yes, that's what the person is asking.
In the first instance, do premises just locate like that without approval? If the answer is in the affirmative, we deal with that premises by closing it down. If it obtains approval and is less than 200 meters from the hospital, then there must be some strong reason, or it had existed before 2005. Now, remember that the 200 meters is not the imagination of everybody. As PCN, we have specific and verifiable means of measuring the 200 meters. So what you may see as less than 200 meters to us will be 200 meters because our ways of measurement are not the common ways you know. Right?
Okay.
So
I know I can't is door to door.
No, even issue of door to door. At first, it was from the retail pharmacy to the gate of the hospital. Later on, it was from the retail pharmacy to the hospital pharmacy. Finally, it came to be from the retail pharmacy to the nearest functional gate of the hospital. That means if there is a gate opposite you that has not been used for the past 15, 20 years, you cannot call it an active gate now.
Okay.
Maybe they use it only when they want to bring heavy equipment into the hospital, using heavy vehicles. That's not a gate. Maintenance gate. So, but we are now saying any gate that is open to the public, whether it is the gate to the staff primary school of the hospital, or the main gate to the hospital, or the gate to the staff quarters, that is an active gate. It's used every day. That's what the requirement today.
As at today.
The nearest functional gate as at today.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much for that clarification. Okay. 5 more minutes. Pharmacist Alex, please, you have the floor. I can see your hand is up.
All right. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you so much, sir, for creating this time to share your experience and knowledge with us. Really appreciate it. So
You're welcome.
So the only concern I want to raise is because this new PCN Act seems to be more broadening, covering different aspects.
Yes.
And I do sense that PCN have a challenge of manpower in terms of responding to issues sometimes. I do see some case of PCN visiting some area like after like 5 years before coming to that area. So what I want to point out is with all of this capacity be expanded, responsibility be expanded, is there any plan? Is there any plan to bring in more hands for the work? Because it appears the responsiveness of PCN to issues, most especially in the where you have in the community setting, seems to be very slow. And I know PCN is doing a lot, but the appreciation from the pharmacist end seems not to be that visible. So what I'm pointing out in essence is what are the ways of which PCN can be more responsive so that and the channel of posting out the problem you have seen. Maybe you've seen something wrong and you want to report, and you intend that PCN should come quickly to resolve it. Maybe a pharmacist see an wholesaler selling directly to consumers and you want to raise such an issue. So what are the channels of communication? How best do you go about it? Because I think for more effectiveness, there needs to be a good collaboration between the PCN and the operating pharmacist on the field.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So first, expanding role, expanding capacity. How do we address it? Because in terms of personnel and milieu, there seems to be a deficit. Very valid observation. Now, how are we addressing it? You ask whether we have any plans to bring in more hands. Answer is a straight yes. Additionally, we are leveraging on technology. So we have what we call digital inspection tools. Today, we are using things like GPS map ruler. And, we have almost perfected the deployment of software for PIC and PPMV inspections, whereby, if you go there, you just use technology, map out the coordinates, and then it will automatically tell you through Google Map, presupposing that the database of all registered premises, even unregistered ones, are captured in that software. So once you enter the coordinates of a proposed place you want to inspect, it automatically brings out to you the nearest premises to it. And then you plot the coordinates, you do everything, you satisfy yourself, you fill in the report, and you submit the report right where you are. So there's no room for editing it. And there you go. Yeah. So that takes away a lot of subjective behavior, and then the people monitoring it at the headquarters or at the zonal or state offices get an instant response. But more importantly, we are looking at where you don't have to physically even be there to carry out an inspection. We are working on all those softwares. But I must tell you that that technology is very expensive. Good technology is necessarily expensive. So, but we are bridging that gap also by using development and implementing partners. So we have now a programs coordinating department that is in charge of writing concept notes, proposals to attract funding from organizations to drive some of these things I'm talking about. Then the issue of channels of reporting malpractice. It may interest you to know that we opened a portal where you will report malpractice and instantly it will be attended to. I was in charge of that when I was the director in charge of public relations and programs coordination. I tell you, in 1 year, we got only 12 reports. Right, you go and open that portal and you do your report. Instantly, I get the report. I respond to it. In 1 year, 12. We were paying money for nothing. We had to close it. But now, like I said earlier on, we have a Twitter handle. We have a Facebook group. We have our websites. And we have our states and zonal offices. At least no matter how far you are from the state capital, you can send text message to the state officer reporting a particular malpractice. And then I don't see why within 2 days it will not reach headquarters, and within 1 week maximum it will not be attended to, even if it means sending a team. But we have to have people using those channels. If people are not using the channels, that means that people are not giving us feedback. No matter how much money and milieu we have, we cannot reach everywhere. We cannot reach everywhere. So we have to leverage on technology And technology, of course, is communication technology, information and communication technology. And you know, communication in two ways. If you are inundate your WhatsApp group with reports and nobody responds, that's no communication. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay, we have, this is 3 minutes past 6, but let's just take the last question from pharmacist Ifoma Uzu.
Ifoma is back.
Yes, let's take the last question from
yes, thank you very much, Greg, for the opportunity to ask again. I assume that we all had one chances to, but given the privilege of asking the last one. Okay, sir, sometimes earlier this year, after the inauguration of our president, we saw a circular that was saying the federal government was going to defund professional bodies. I want to know if PCN is affected by that circular, or unless maybe we read it the wrong way. We don't really understand what defunding means, because it's some people that were interested in working with PCN sometimes in life to be very skeptical about the whole defunding thing, or I don't really know how to put it, but it was more of those professional bodies will be funding themselves. And
okay.
Yeah, so I would like some clarification on that for the benefit of myself and some other people that are also interested in working with the PCN.
Okay. First of all, let me say that we must divorce ourselves from the mentality of government funding. Just this afternoon, I was discussing with my wife about employment. I say people, they want only government job. Only government job. The best paying jobs are not government jobs. That's one. Anyway, that is an aside. But coming to specifics about your question, the answer is yes. We have even been written a letter. But the issue is that the government funding you are talking about, we are talking only of personnel and overhead. Now, let me give you this shocker. For the past 10, 15 years, government has given PCN virtually nothing as overhead and as capital. Capital means you want to buy vehicles. You want to build more offices, right? You want to buy generators. You want to buy computers. These are capital projects that come under the public procurement process and the act. Now, government has not been giving us money. Anything you see being done in PCN is from internet generated revenue, only that you must seek, even with that, you must seek government approval because that is public money. So what are they telling us? What they are telling us in essence is that henceforth, we will also be responsible for personnel costs. That is payment of salaries and emoluments. And if I tell you the percentage of that to PCN is not something we are afraid of. We have long brainstormed on the issue. If peradventure today now government doesn't pay our salaries, can we sustain ourselves? The answer is a resounding yes. When that circular or that news came out, if you monitor the pharmacy platforms, pharmacists had already, tacitly accepted it and were making proposals. That means that we have to be ready to pay more fees for our licenses, for our premises. We have to be paying more for MCPD and a gamut of other things that were not even there. These are pharmacies on their own discussing, profiling how we can get more revenue. We at the PCN too, we are looking at how we can bring new revenue subheads. And of course, if you say we should be self-funding, you are telling us that we will not have a governing council, or that if we have a governing council, then the government will fund the activities of the governing council. The activities of the governing council has been guzzling a lot of our money because it is the largest governing council of any government organization in Nigeria, growing every day by number. Any new faculty of pharmacy approved or accredited increases the number on the governing council by 1. And in some years, we have 3 being approved. So Today, the governing council membership is 70-something. The largest in Nigeria, no doubt. So to us, honestly, it will be a great relief. And we are not afraid of it. We are not saying, I'm not saying there will not be any challenges. There will be teething problems, but we'll surmount those challenges. I'm positive about it.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. So feel free. Don't be skeptical about joining the PCN. Anytime we blow the whistle, please apply.
Okay, sir.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very, very much for making yourself available for today's session. We've actually come to the end of the session today, and then we will communicate to the house as fast as possible for continuation, because we have to once we get the gazette, we will crave the indulgence of the patience and the availability of our speaker again, Pharmacist Peter Ilya, so that we treat the most pressing gazettes squarely. We treat them, we pick that one and we dissect it very, very well, because I know that eventually when we read the way some laws are written, the kind of English that is being speaking, that is being written there might not be what we understand easily. So we need to pick it, and then so once we get the gazette, we'll work on getting it before Tuesday. Once we get that, then we'll communicate back to the house as well if a session will be on next week as well. All right. So
yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Once more, okay, the chairman is still around. I was thinking, okay, there was a time network kicked him out. All right, Mr. Chairman, please, you have the floor. Just give us the closing remarks so that we can all go back to enjoy our weekend and prepare for the coming week. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir, for your time. We have enjoyed every bit of everything you said, answering all our questions. Thank you very much, sir. We must also appreciate your family, the entire family, and your grandchildren for allowing you to have time with us. If your grandchildren hadn't given you the permission to have this time with us, we wouldn't have been able to have it. But we're grateful, sir. To all
of course, you are part of my family now.
Thank you, sir.
My daughter is almost becoming a pharmacist.
So you see, thank you very much. So to all young pharmacists that attended this episode, we don't want any young pharmacists to miss it. Please, let's extend the good news across, so that whenever when next the call is made, we will full this platform and enjoy the whole lot that we have had this evening. Thank you very much. And
a quick one, please. If you didn't register via the link that was sent officially, please try and register, so that when we get the soft copies and also the link, we will also resend again to everybody through the email. So please do register if you didn't register. Thank you very much. See us on that time.
Thank you. All right. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.